130 over 90 is perfect, boy. Excellent. 130 over 90, 80 yards. Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Great new, Habibi.
Habibi.
Habibi. Good. Welcome
Yeah, welcome,
to
guys.
everyone. Welcome to the Lifeline.
Yeah, this is our little intro episode to our little podcast. Hopefully,
Well, we've tried to make it nice. We've brought you to a
yeah,
nice location. We're in Sun Valley in Capri Village in Cape Town.
yeah,
We've got Noordhoek Beach in the background, so it's a really nice environment. It's
yeah.
nice
We
and easy to be healthy out here
hope to bring you guys to the same spot as much as we
as
can,
much as we
provided
can.
the weather permits us to. Um,
Sure.
yeah, there's no better spot here, so you guys get to enjoy the view.
So if you come, maybe you've come via Cole's other channel or by Cole's channel, so
Yeah,
you know that it's we're about training here and muscle
yeah,
and bodybuilding, but we're also about health.
yeah,
And just to give you a bit of an introduction as to who we are,
yeah,
so Cole Dixon is an aspiring classic bodybuilder,
yeah.
competitive bodybuilder, professional athlete. He's currently an amateur bodybuilder. He's on his way there though. So I'm a paramedic, and not only a paramedic, and he's not only a bodybuilder, but Cole's also a professional personal trainer, and we're both IT experts
Technically
in
not
different
professional
ways.
because haven't actually had paid clients, but I have had
You got
clients
the
and I've coached
qualification,
people.
yeah,
I've qualified.
and he's got the
I'm qualified.
qualification, so
Um,
he's got the knowledge.
but you're also you are 100% a professional though.
Yes,
Yeah,
and I am a professional paramedic. I am
yeah,
a advanced life support paramedic. I've been that way for 11 years. I've been in emergency services for 20 years, and these two things kind of merged and brought us together. So first and foremost, Cole's my friend. We're good friends with one another,
yeah,
and we both train with one another. And besides being friends and besides the training aspect of things, I've become part of Cole's team now because he wants to become a professional and because he wants to push those limits. All professional athletes gather a team around them, and you'll see with a lot of individual sport athletes, just so you'll see with a lot of people that are in an individual sport, for example, anyone that does long distance cycling or something. Like, I was actually watching a long distance cycler,
mm,
and his team was completely made up of his family and his friends
yeah,
who were just there, and they were literally his entire team. So
yeah,
driving the safety vehicle, doing all
yeah,
the rest of it. So the same things happen here, and I am a paramedic.
yeah.
So one of the things that we want to look at with Cole is we want to look at his health. So just
I've kind of naturally found that team in
yes,
Grant, my actual coach overseas,
yeah.
and one or two others. But there's I'm slowly finding that for myself. I think it's
Yes, your team will come
yeah,
together. So from my perspective, what I started looking at is from a paramedic's point of view is immediately the basics. Just we need to monitor his vital signs because he's pushing his body to an extreme. He's pushing his body out of homeostasis. Homeostasis is a term that's used to describe the natural balance in your body. Any exercise, illness, anything, poisoning, injury, anything, any of these things push your body out of homeostasis. So you're pushing your body out of homeostasis the entire time,
yeah,
and you're
yeah,
doing it in an extreme way.
yeah,
And so the point of the Lifeline is to bring you Cole's progress from a health perspective.
mm.
We're going to see what his vital signs do over time. We're going to see what his health does over time.
Yeah.
We're going to
Just
be doing exciting things like booking doctor's
in
appointments and
regards to the sport itself, and obviously
yes,
the diet, the training, and everything.
all of that. So that is the Lifeline. That's
Yeah,
one part of the Lifeline. The second part of the Lifeline is this podcast, and what we want to do is you saw a whole bunch of roll now when you were clicking on this video, and what you saw is stethoscopes and blood pressure cuffs. You saw me monitoring Cole's vital signs.
mm, mm,
So that's the basics that I'm going to monitor. That's the basic parameters that I'm going to monitor in Cole. And any of you that are in the sports out there, that's what we'd like to bring you is that content. We
yeah,
want to
yeah,
show people that are interested what's just of, from a basic level what's happening to
yeah.
the man's body, and these are important things. It's become so important nowadays that most of us wear
And
smartwatches.
also
I have,
so looked and skipped over, like a lot of
yeah,
people doing it. I mean, maybe not in the professional
but big tech's pushing it. Everyone's pushing it.
yeah, but
Everyone's
people
got
don't do it. People aren't
smartwatches.
checking.
Yeah,
They're not even aware of their baselines.
yeah. We want to inspire people to do that,
Yeah,
but from a just a monitoring point of view, everyone's got a most people have a smartwatch these days, or a fitness tracker when you exercise. I exercise with one, and we're used to monitoring our heart rate, which is great, and we should be on top of that. We're used to monitoring our SpO2, and that's great, and we should be on top of that. But we want to get in depth into more subjects. Like, people don't really speak about blood pressure. It's not
Yeah.
something that people are watching. And I was actually watching one influencer that was describing a situation, one guy, and he was attributing it to something, low blood sugar. But I was watching, I was like, no, that's not. It's actually probably a high blood pressure. And you wouldn't know because he wasn't monitoring his blood
Yeah.
pressure.
Yeah.
So he was just making
Yeah.
assumptions based off nothing,
Yeah.
but not actually having monitored it. So he could
Yeah.
know. But knowing what I know, I could tell that it was, and I'd love to have monitored his blood pressure, because in my opinion, it was a blood pressure thing. So
Yeah.
blood
Yeah.
pressure, they
Yeah.
call the silent killer.
Yeah.
In an
100%.
extreme sport, you're putting yourself under so much load. We want to watch that. So you
Yeah.
have to actually monitor it. So therefore, we take his vital signs. So I've got his permission. We've got his permission to
Basically,
give you the information.
Yeah.
To bring you the information, is personal information.
Yeah.
And what we
Yeah.
also want to do is we want to get in depth into different topics. We want to get into men's health. We want to get into even helping people getting through addictions, because we've been down those routes. We've given up cigarette addictions and stuff like that. We've been places in our lives, and we feel that we've got to a point where we are on top of our health, and we're in charge of our health. And we want to bring it to you guys. And we want to also bring you interesting topics. We want to hear what you want us to talk about. We want to bring our two brains together. His from a pure fitness, that's what he does.
Yeah.
And side, and mine from my medical side. And we want to bring us together, and between the two of us, we want to have these good conversations, and we want to get in depth into topics. We can go in depth as you like into any topics that you like. We know how to research.
If you guys have any topics you want to throw at us, you might find interesting, or you want our insight on.
Exactly.
Throw them in the comments.
And ultimately, what it boils down to is you. So this is a complimentary channel to Cole Dixon.
Yeah,
and
so
it's
this
about
is
your journey moving forward, and I'm part of your journey, and it's the Lifeline.
Yeah, this
because
is
we want to be
another
healthy.
thing for you guys to kind of stay along for the ride, because I'm gonna be competing next year, and that's very much so the big goal, and also kind of the goal is to bring all the information to you guys, just the ups and the downs, on a health side, on a mental side, everything. So not only are we going to have our little podcasts, there's going to be a whole bunch of other stuff on my channel. Going to be in the gym.
A
I need
lot
to
of
sort
training.
out
You're going to see us in the gym
sort
a lot.
out one or two little things. I've got to get myself another lens. So I'm restricted at the moment, but very soon we're going to be doing like day in the life kind of vlog styles. I don't know who out there is interested, but at the end of the day, I am trying my best to live the lifestyle. And yeah, it's just cool. It's cool info for you guys if you are wanting to follow the journey.
Especially men, and I mean, we are men. Everyone's welcome, but we are men, and we focus on men's health. And like Cole says, meeting me was a blessing, because I am now part of his team, and so on and so forth, and we're good friends. But also meeting Cole was a blessing for me. I'm a bit older than Cole. I'm 38 now. Cole's 24, and I'd got to the point in my life where that something was missing. And I actually, like you said, when we were speaking previously, I was working overseas. I was working in Ukraine, and then I was in Iraq, and then I came back here. And since being full-time in Cape Town, I actually changed careers completely into an IT career, although I do still work as a paramedic and stay updated. Specifically, I work as a volunteer paramedic nowadays. And meeting Cole put me back on the gym mission, and it put me on a path to much better. And I've been on this journey with you for about a year now, and it's boosted my confidence so much. I think as you get older, as a male, it's easy for you these things to start taking a knock. Life starts taking its toll on you, and so on and so forth. And you'd be amazed at just how taking control of your physical health, taking control of your body, getting in the gym, slapping
how
some
I've
muscle on.
actually, not to toot my own horn, but I attribute it all to Grant's personal being and his willpower. But how far you've come is crazy, you know.
Thank you. I really
Like,
appreciate
yeah.
that. Yeah,
No,
I really appreciate that so much.
no,
Thanks. Yeah,
seriously,
yeah.
you like it's a different person.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, completely.
And this I can attribute to having the freedom to being working in Cape Town, which previously I was working overseas, working in Cape Town and being here and being near Cole and being back, being we basically see each other almost every day, but at
Mm,
least on Fridays and Mondays, and just getting on this mission with him and getting back into training, getting into training like this, and just like I say, getting in the gym, slapping some muscle on, and getting on this journey with you it's brought my confidence up. It's brought so much value into my life, and we want to pass along the torch.
yeah,
We
yeah,
want
yeah.
people to
We
be
want to
experiencing
inspire
the
you
same
guys
things.
to feel the same thing, you
You
know.
know, especially from
Um,
my perspective, if you're a male and you're hitting 35 or 38 or 40, and you get in there and you're finding things missing, you notice that you're getting a bit big around the midriff, and you want to get rid of that, and you want to take control of yourself,
mm,
and you really want to take control of your health and your body. And now you're almost 40, and now you got to start thinking about things like heart attacks
mm, mm.
and all these things.
Or if you're young out there
Yeah,
and there's just so much info that's just bombarded all the time, and it's really hard to choose, you know, choose who to follow.
you
There's
got to
so much
watch. Yeah,
info, and everyone's claiming that their personal whatever is the way to go. And at the end of the day, they're just trying to push their content.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
That's
really
it.
hard
Yeah,
to believe.
mm,
So if you're young out there as well, you
yeah,
know this is going to be from the bone kind of information. We're not
mm,
trying to
mm,
bring anything across in any sort of way. This is a almost like a guinea pig situation. I've been training for a long time, and I have a lot of information personally. Um, and yeah, that's
yeah.
basically what we're bringing to you guys.
That's it. And
Yeah,
it's interesting. I don't know if it'll come across on camera, but there's a little bit of a spark. There's a little bit of an edge that we've got to grab. You know,
yeah, yeah,
that to get it, because it's got to be. We wanted to jump out to you guys, and we want you to. So we want to have a lot of things that are good. We want to have nice visual appeal, and we want you guys to just enjoy the content so much that it inspires you to go out and
yeah,
get boost your confidence. And having said that, though, there are some really interesting, some good content creators and influencers that I've noticed recently. There's a couple of guys doing some great stuff with addiction,
yeah, yeah,
funnily enough,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you'd be surprised that human beings are addicted to everything,
yeah.
and
Wow.
it's such a thing. And yeah, and there are a lot of really cool creators out there right
Yeah,
now. Give like that kind of thing's really
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
We want to also touch on these things, and we want to get into these topics, and also, as I say, specifically with uh, regard to men, but any human. And yeah, that's it. That's the lifeline in a
yeah,
nutshell.
yeah.
That
Pretty
and
much.
we're pretty much going to be documenting everything. You're going to see a lot of documentation. There's a lot of work that goes into the channel. So there's a lot of editing. There's a lot of roll. There's a lot of visual stuff, and there's a lot of data that we're going to be collecting. So we log everything. So when I say we're taking his vitals over time and logging it, we're doing that, and we're creating that data for you guys so you can see what happens over time.
Yeah, another thing on vitals especially, you can't just take it once and figure yourself out. You know, you got something you got to do over time.
You've got to do
Your
over time.
environment can play a huge role, whether you're stressed.
Mm.
Something called what's it, white coat syndrome.
White coat syndrome, yeah.
Yeah,
White
yeah.
coat hypertension,
Some
yeah,
people,
yeah,
I'm sure
exactly,
there's a lot of you out there. You
yeah,
get nervous when you go to the doctor. You know,
yeah.
how are you supposed to get a proper vitals check if
No, yeah,
you know, if things are firing in your brain?
yeah,
So
exactly. White coat syndrome, exactly.
yeah, anyway, so it's just something to so I just wanted to add that it's like a lot of people, you know, you might be in a stressful situation or even a time in your life where for weeks that blood pressure may be
Mm.
high,
Elevated, yeah. We don't know
and
the
it's
damage you're doing
actually
and the
just a
risk.
mental thing,
Yeah, yeah.
could not be. So make sure you are checking your vitals on quite a regular basis.
And this is the thing, we want
It'll
to
make a
encourage people
difference.
to do this. We
Yeah,
don't give medical advice, but come on, there's we living in a world, even big tech's behind it with
yeah,
smartwatches and all the,
yeah,
the
yeah,
gear and everything that's
yeah,
going about it. Even with the Apple Watch now, you can do an ECG.
yeah,
You can make a connection. You take your finger and you touch the watch like this, and it makes this circular connection. It's called Einthoven's triangle. It's the same theoretical triangle that you make when you put ECG dots on somebody
okay,
and you connect
okay,
up those cables, and it's that triangle that then catches electrical impulses as vectors
Yeah.
moving out, and
Yeah.
that's the tracing that you see.
Okay.
So that's how the Apple Watch works with
You can actually
ECGs.
check your,
Yeah, but
yeah.
you have to
You
make
get
the
it. You get
connection. You've got to
heat
make
off.
this Einthoven's triangle. This,
Damn.
yeah, it's interesting. Eh?
Yeah.
And then if you check the Apple website, like I was searching the other day, and you look, I don't know if it's available here yet. We must get our hands on an Apple smartwatch actually and check the ECG function, and but it'll tell you, and they educate you there. They say, okay,
Mm.
look, this is AFib, atrial fibrillation. That's where the top of your heart, the atria are just fibrillating like
Yeah.
this. It's a somewhat can be dangerous rhythm for somebody to be in. A lot of people are in it without even knowing
Yeah.
about it,
And
and
they have no way to
no,
figure
and
it out
one
until
of the
they.
things that you risk with AFib is because of the fibrillation in the atria in the top of your heart, you can have blood that becomes static, and that can form clots, and those can be pushed out into your pulmonary. So that's just one thing that can happen
Mm.
because of untreated AFib that maybe somebody didn't know they had, unless they had the Apple Watch and they were on top of it.
Yeah.
As
Trying to do an Apple plug here.
yeah, but
Sponsor us.
serious. And I mean, anyone can do it. You can. Everyone should be in charge of their. When you start taking control, if you just start making something a reality, if you monitor something and you write it down and you put it down, you become it and you start thinking about it. And you take so much power when if you know exactly what your own vital signs are. You can go to check clicks or disc check is anywhere,
Mm.
and you can buy yourself a blood pressure monitor. You can check your own blood pressure. You can go into any facility, anyone's. People are really happy to check vital signs over
Mm.
time to
Mm.
monitor. You can get your vitals checked anywhere, but we really encourage that people know what's going on with their own bodies.
Yeah. Especially
And
your heart.
yeah, especially your heart, and
Yeah.
and it's specifically with you, we're looking at blood pressure. At some stage, we're going to do ECGs in you and that, but for then we'll do a nice episode. We'll take you somewhere.
Mm.
I'll take you to a
Mm. Mm.
specialist, and we'll do and let them do a proper ECG on you
Yeah.
and so forth. I'm a good person to interpret for the viewers.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
intermediary, I'm a good presenter to present that information
Yeah.
across.
Yeah.
Key points here: we've got Cole's permission to
Yeah. Yeah.
give
Yeah.
you his medical
Full
information.
permission.
He's given us some full
Yeah.
permission to do that, and also we're not. I'm not doing any invasive procedures on Cole, and
Yeah.
I'm not administering anything to him. We're not doing anything like that, and we're not advising anyone to do that. We're just advising people to. We want to entertain you, and we also want people to take control of themselves
Yeah.
and
Be aware of your
be helpful. Yeah,
health,
yeah.
especially if you are in the gym or doing.
That's really important. That specifically with Cole, because especially if you're in the gym, especially if you're putting that much
Mm.
strain underneath your body, underneath that much strain, or if you're doing any other extreme, physically taxing extreme sports, they definitely all have their teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I say, that guy that I was watching was so interesting to watch.
Mm.
He's a long distance cycler. Those guys cycle. He cycles for those people. He cycles for like 23 hours a day for 5 days on
Yeah.
a race,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
extreme physical. And literally
It's insane.
his entire team is just his friends and his family that
Yeah.
have pulled together.
People
Yeah,
who have believed in him.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's us, and that's the
Yeah.
Lifeline in a
Yeah.
nutshell.
Stay tuned. I think I mentioned that this is, not only the podcast is going to come up on this channel, we're going to have quite a few little things.
Yeah,
I'm going to be doing vlogs and stuff. So
there's a
stay
lot.
tuned. Every Monday, though, is when we will be doing our podcast, or at least it'll be uploaded for you guys. So, yeah, stay tuned and hope to see you guys next Monday.
Catch you at the next
Yeah.
Lifeline. Stay healthy.
Safeties.
Take
Beautiful.
care.
I think that was a wrap.
I think that was a good one. Yeah.